What's up, guys? It's the 330 Sports Show. Today is August 8th, 2024. We have Mark, we have Nicole from the Youngstown Marathon. Gentlemen, ladies, welcome. How are we doing?
Hello.
So we've done this show before. We've had you guys down here before, and we know the Youngstown Marathon does some amazing things. Let's just lead off. You guys tell us about this year's race, and we'll get into the details after that. So, Mark, you want to start?
Sure. So our race this year, actually, we're changing things up a little bit. In the past, we've had our race, and we started out in June, which was hot. So we moved it to October, which was cool and works well. But there's a lot of races in October. So this year we've shifted the race date again. It's going to be September 22nd.
Okay.
So we're moving it up a little bit. So hopefully more people in the community can come out and participate before you get into the heat of marathon season.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get out in front of it. And in that, we have always had our 5K and always had our half marathon. And last year was the first year that we did a team relay. So especially for people running other races in the area, it's a great opportunity to get it's 3 people. So you just need you and 2 friends. The legs in order are 4.5 miles, 4 miles, and 4.6 miles to get your half marathon distance. But it's a great opportunity to get a couple friends together and be able to enjoy the park and do something if you are training for another race, or obviously you can jump in the half or the 5K as well. So
yeah,
it's good.
And as someone that did that last year, myself, Joe, and we had a third member, I did the 4.5. And I ran literally about a mile that week and a mile the week before. So that was my training. And I somehow did it, but I was very proud of myself at the end. But that is a beautiful course. It was a lot of fun. So
yeah,
props to you guys for, I know you do a lot of the course mapping. So hats off to you for that. So Nicole, why don't you tell us what you do and more about the race?
So the relay is I love talking about it because it's a great way to get more people involved who want a little bit more challenge in a 5K. And with our relay, we have a corporate championship. So if you have your workplace or your company who wants to participate, but we have other prizes too for the top female team, the top male team, and the top co-ed team. So there's some good bragging rights that come with that. I think it's always important to remember to like what makes our race special. And we just really care about our community. We care about our runners. And so perks for the runners include, we have at our celebration village, we have Penguin City showing up with their very special Lanterman's Lager that they dedicated to us. We have pizza. We have Costa Rehab and Wellness. We have Fit for Function, who will provide stretching, rehab, and all kinds of nice relaxation for runners post-race.
Okay.
We have amazing shirts and medals that everyone always loves. Mark designs our shirts, and they're always a huge hit.
Those green shirts, those like army green shirts last year were a big hit.
They were awesome.
A lot of people love those.
Yeah, our shirts are always a big hit. So I just on social media had released our shirts. So the medals are coming soon.
Okay.
And then let's not forget that we are a nonprofit, the Youngstown Marathon Foundation, and we donate all of our proceeds to beneficiaries every year. And this year we have Diva Donations, and they help people in need for anything from homecoming to prom to wedding dresses. They do a lot with the homeless community, the underserved, water, go, you got this. And you'll find that in our community. I think everyone is so supportive.
And September 22nd, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So September 22nd, it's like the weather's starting to get into that like fallish weather. The leaves might just start being changing, but you get that like crisp air in the morning, which is really nice.
That's the best.
Especially after like, you get the dog days of summer. Then it's like when you get those like nice like 50, upper 50s or lower 60 mornings, those are probably for you guys. I'm going to speak for you, but those are probably ideal running conditions. I would imagine.
Those are some of the best mornings to get out and go when it's not freezing cold.
Yeah.
And you can just throw on a long sleeve and go enjoy, like you said, that nice crisp morning air.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Now, let's say someone has a young child, they want to participate. Can they bring a stroller?
Yeah, please
Okay.
bring a stroller. If your dog is interested in coming and
Oh,
doing 3
yeah.
miles
Oh,
with
we
you
like
for the
dogs.
5K,
Okay.
bring your dog.
Very dog friendly. yes.
Bring the family.
Okay.
You know, have more people at the finish line to come and cheer you on. So that's, I mean, that's the other thing, like you talked about. The vibe at the finish line is always a lot of fun, just because everybody's celebrating the achievements of the people coming across the line, and you know, people just watching and cheering their loved ones on is really cool. So yeah, it's a good time.
So, you know, Joe and we had a third teammate last year, and I had just met him that morning. But I was our first runner. So we started up by like that Dunkin' Donuts. I think it's Ron Park or Ron
Yeah,
Joy,
you got it.
the street up there where you start. And then we started trickling out. But I started last year with Andrew DePaulo and then Jackie from the Vindies. And Andrew is about 10 years younger than me. So he's got a little bit more lung capacity. And Jackie, though, who I don't know how many calories she burns on stage for a show, but it was her birthday the night before. So she was a little bit hungover when she started. So I did the first mile with them. Andrew had a little bit of a faster pace than me. And I think I maybe edged out Jackie by a minute or two, but it is fun whether it's like people you know a lot, your best friends, or just like some acquaintances you meet on the trail or on the course. It's like it's easier to run with people, and it just like it pushes you, whether you're listening to music or whether you're just headphones off and you're just going. So
yeah, and the relay exchange zone was a really cool vibe last year too, because you've got it's one exchange zone, as you're aware, from running it. So the first leg runs out and meets the second leg at just past Landerman's Mill.
Oh yeah.
So at that parking lot is where the exchange zone is for Landerman's Mill, for anybody familiar with the park. And then the second leg comes back to that same exact spot. So you're never alone. You're with a teammate the whole time. And it created a really cool environment where everyone there waiting for their relay exchange, or maybe you have already done your relay exchange, they're cheering on other runners on the course who are doing the entire half marathon themselves, and they're cheering on each other. And so it was just a really neat atmosphere there. That's like, people completing it, people still, waiting to go, and that anticipation of being able to run the final stretch back around Lake Newport to the finish line. So it's a really fun area.
And that's where you were camped out last year, if I remember right. And then it was nice because we were able to plan for the two of us that finished the first two legs to drive back.
Yes.
And, so you don't have to do all this logistical planning. It's really easy. The first two runners can hitch a ride right back. So it makes it. That was smart planning.
Well, I give Mark a lot of credit for how he designed that, because then you're not trying to find random places in the park. I mean, we know the park really well.
Yeah.
But the way that Mark designed it was really cool, because it creates that fun vibe at the exchange zone, and you don't have to have 3 people coordinating rides. So first person starts at the starting line with everybody, and then goes to the exchange point, and you kind of hang out and wait. And then after you've passed it off to the third leg, those first 2 runners can head on back to the finish line and cheer their partner home.
So if you guys are just tuning in, Nicole Rantilla, Mark from Second Soul, don't want to leave Second Soul out of this. So Second Soul is obviously one of the main sponsors. That is kind of where the Celebration Village is, correct? Yeah. So we always want to talk about shoes too. I always I realized very quickly that style, like, I like my Jordans and stuff like that, but those aren't the best running shoes. But I found out very quickly how important it is to have a good pair of running shoes. Tell us why that's so important.
Yeah, it's funny that we're talking about this. I ran sprints in high school and college. I was a hurdler at YSU, at Boardman High School, and then at YSU. And
by the way, Mark Lipinski, look him up in the record book. He's still there.
Thank you. Yeah.
I forgot to give your last name. So
Appreciate it. But after college, I was like, I'm not going to go to the track and do these crazy workouts. I'm not going to continue to run hurdles and have to lift in the gym, heavy weights and all this kind of stuff. But I still wanted to be active. And when you strip it down, I mean, to be able to go walk or run, all you really need is a good pair of shoes.
That's true.
So it's really simple in that. And again, with the consistency, if you want to get better at running, I have a bracelet that says run more. It's a reminder that to continue to improve, that's really all you have to do is just go run more or walk more.
Yeah.
So yeah, shoes is super important. And what we do at Second Soul is unique in the community because every customer that comes in, whether you're walking or running, or if you've had surgeries, or if you have pain or issues, or if you're just healthy and want to do more, we take the time to make sure that we get you the right kind of shoe for your foot type.
Sure.
So a lot of people want to know, well, what's the best shoe, or what's the best brand? And really all the stuff we have on the wall is all different styles from different brands. So I like to think of it just like a car company has a sedan and a racing car and a truck and a van and all these different kinds of shoes. Like they have different kinds of cars. So our goal is to just make sure that you have the right kind of shoe with the right support and cushion for your specific foot type, so that you can go do what you want to do. Our goal is to make sure that you're healthy doing it, because at the end of the day, if you don't have the right equipment, which is really just the shoes, if you don't have the right equipment, then you're not going to be able to go do what you want to do. So,
and anybody that plays sports out there knows how much, whether it's baseball or basketball might be the second cheapest, but football, soccer, even there's all this other equipment that you have to go and purchase. Hockey, I don't even want to talk about. I know what some parents pay for that stuff, but a good pair of shoes are an investment, not only in just that distance of that run, but in your long-term health. So you're taking care of your joints and your back and your neck and all that stuff. So it's it might, the price tag might look expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than a visit to the
it's an investment.
Doctor.
And one thing that I learned from Mark is you can't just pick the ones that look cute to you. You have to pick the ones that, like, I have really flat feet, so I have to get ones that provide the right amount of support. But I will say this about Second Souls, that Mark and Steve, if there's a shoe where I don't like the color, but it's the right shoe for me, they will track it down and they will get it to the store right away. So they're really good about that, making sure that if there's a different color, but it's the right shoe, and if it's in the store in Columbus, they will get it for you.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we, like Nicole said, I mean, first and foremost, you got to be comfortable. So that comes first, and we don't have every color of every style in stock. But if you're after a color, or a lot of times, even if you're on your feet a lot at work and you need something that's going to match your scrubs or match your uniform or whatever it is, you need something that's not going to just get dirty right away. We do try our best to get you not just what you need, but something that looks decent as well.
Yeah. Well, look good, feel good, right?
Right.
So yeah, I get that. That really is, like you said, make it work for you first, but then if you can, look good while doing it too. So I love it. So yeah, Second Soul, great job with customer service. That's where the Celebration Village is going to be. And you guys had mentioned all the different things that are going to be there. There's always a lot of great food. You had mentioned the beer and stuff like that. And
Penguin City will have that. And then Marco's Pizza will be providing pizza at the finish line. And then the rehab and resting from Costa and from Fit for Function. And we'll have music. It's fun. Everyone sticks around. We have a really good time.
It is, and someone that, finally did it last year. I've talked about doing it, but I finally did it. It's so worth it. Just like get out there, and it makes you feel good about yourself too. Like, like you said, whether you finish and you're running a 5-minute mile, or whether you're winning a 15-minute mile, whatever, it's like you did it though. So it's like one step at a time, one pace at a time, whatever it might be. Get out there and do it. You're supporting a great cause.
Yeah. And I'm going to put another plug in real quick, just because we've been talking about consistency. The Panerathon is a huge event in the community, and they have a 2-mile and a 10K. The 10K, for anybody who doesn't know, is 6.2 miles. But the 2-mile there is a big walk event. So there are people that run it, but it's a great way to kind of kick off the end of summer, back to school, and start with some consistency and participate in an event in the community. And then we're on, Youngstown Marathon is going to be on September 22nd. So the next month, you got another month to train to do the 5K or to do the team relay or do the half. And then this year is actually the 50th anniversary for the Peace Race.
Oh, wow.
So that's October 6th. So just a couple weeks after us. And they have a 2 mile again, they have a 10K. And then because it's the 50th anniversary, the Peace Race actually started with a 25K. So they're bringing that back as a one-time only. It's 15 and a half miles, and that's all through Mill Creek Park, start and finish downtown for the 25K. So that's, again, it's come be a part of the community, come be active, and, set some goals so that hopefully you can start now, get out, be active, and then have some things that you can kind of check off your list as you go through the end of summer into fall, and start a routine and have something to do.
That's great. So yeah, you got 3 races right there in the early fall, and whether you're a beginner, advanced, you can do them all and get out there and support the community and see. And it's a beautiful time of year, regardless.
It really is.
So.
And I want to add this too. So our Youngstown running community is so cool. There's people that I wouldn't have known had I not been running in these races, and now I'm involved on the board. And next Wednesday on the 14th, Second Soul has a run group every Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Okay.
It costs nothing. You show up, you run, you get support. A lot of times there's reps from different shoe companies. You can shop the store. But Youngstown Marathon Foundation is sponsoring Run Group next week.
Oh, awesome.
So if you show up to Run Group and want to sign up for one of our races, we're going to have a special discount code for you.
Awesome.
So, and again, if you are nervous about running alone, or if you just feel like I just want to meet some people, come any Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And we're
every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
Second Soul.
Our vice president Candace organizes it, and it's a really, really nice group of people.
That's great.
No matter what pace you're at.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, a couple of our board members are there. Like Nicole said, Candace, our VP, is kind of in charge of our run group, and she's done a really good job activating it. I've seen it over the years have more attendance, less attendance, but this year so far we've been pretty consistent, getting between 30 and 40 people out.
Wow.
So it's a good group, and it's a great way to build some of that consistency and meet some new people.
Yeah.
Make some friends, and maybe you're interested in doing a relay but don't know a third person or 2 other people to do a relay with.
You'll meet them there.
That could be a good opportunity to get a little team together. So
that's really there's great. Pizza next week.
Okay. Yeah. So you might as well run, then get your carbs going.
Yeah, you got it.
That's awesome. And every, I could probably speak plainly on this, but like almost every person I know that is a runner is usually a positive mindset, positive outlook person. We all have our days, but generally most people you come across that are runners, are going to help you, are going to, be there for you. And they support, like you said, they support each other. So whether it's 30 or 40 people, or you maybe just meet one person there that can push you a little bit, that's even better. So fantastic. So once again, Nicole, Mark from the Youngstown Marathon, the proceeds are benefiting in Youngstown Bluecoats, Project MKC, and Diva Donations, correct? So a great event for a great cause. So get out and support them. How can people sign up?
You can visit our website at www.youngstownmarathon.com. It's pretty easy to navigate. You can just click on registration. We have our current prices in effect until August 31st.
Okay.
So a couple ways to save on your registration. Register by August 31st. If you follow one of our ambassadors, they all have promo codes to save 10%. Okay. If you come to Run Group next week, we'll have a nice little discount that night.
Okay.
And then for those people who, we get this question a lot too, can I sign up on race day? Can I sign up the day before? Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some, people are always maybe worried about the weather, what it's going to be like, if it's going to rain. Yeah, you can sign up at the expo the day before on September 21st at the Damus Family Y in Boardman on McClurg Road. Or you can sign up the morning of as well and jump in last minute. Or if you have a friend out of town who might not be able to make it in, or you don't know exactly what the plans are.
I got a 30th birthday the night before. Let's see how I'm feeling that morning.
Right.
But no, that's great. And that's nice. You give people that option to sign up the day of, because a lot of places don't do that. So
and if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, I'm constantly posting updates and really good information, everything from how to prepare, discount codes to, beat the price increase, when's the expo, where's the expo, who to look for. So follow us on social.
And that is a good page to follow, because if something, like when you guys had your Taste of Youngstown, that was when the whole city was being evacuated. So it was really nice to really nice to see you guys giving updates, because
Right.
a lot of people are like, well, I'm not sure, if we can make it because I'm afraid of a building blowing up or something.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you guys were giving constant
Yeah.
updates.
It was
and
not stressful
everything
at all.
was yeah, that had to
fine.
be a rough day. I know I even texted you that day because I'm like, what's happening? And I'm like,
Right.
I'm just adding to your stress level here.
It's
But
fine.
yeah, that was an interesting day in the city of Youngstown, but hopefully we're past that. But
Hope so.
yeah, good stuff though with the Youngstown Marathon. Make sure to follow them on social, check out their website, sign up, and like Mark said, get to one of those running groups on Wednesday at Second Soul, 6 p.m. That sounds like a lot of fun. So, all right, you guys want to do some random questions
do it.
while we're
We're
here?
in.
So
We
I
are
pulled
in.
10 random cards. I'm just gonna have you pick one and hand it to me, and then and Nicole pick one too. All right, so we're probably going to end up getting to all these. They're quick, but we'll see. All right, so this is actually perfect for running. So if you're running by yourself, hypothetically, what song makes you sing at the top of your lungs every time it's on? Whether you're running, you're in the shower, you're in the car by yourself, whatever. Any song out there like come to mind?
So many.
You don't have to sing it, but is there a song?
Okay, this is so dumb but cool. But I like 80s, like
Yeah.
hair bands. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a song "Don't Treat Me Bad" by Firehouse that's on. If you even have heard of it, and it's
Okay.
on my running playlist. And when it comes on, I'm like running through Mill Creek Park, like I don't know, and that's just who I am as a person.
Firehouse, Don't Treat Me Bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
okay.
gonna sing it.
No,
I
no,
rapped
no,
last
no.
year. That's all you get.
Yes, no, you did.
Which
That's
also
great.
Tupac too. I have to be
Okay.
honest when Tupac comes on.
Do you have a song? You seem more like a chill individual that I don't. But
You're not going to see this coming.
no.
Uh-oh.
This girl is on fire.
Oh, Alicia Keys.
That's I just
Wow.
I don't.
love it.
You know, it's one of those.
Okay.
It's a banger. And
There, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. But
No.
you said it, and I could hear it
Yeah.
in my head. And
I
I'm
can
just
hear it
like,
too.
yeah,
Now it'll be in
it's-
my head all day.
You're
Okay.
welcome. I'm sorry. You're welcome.
All right. Next card. If you had to pick a 60-day stretch during the year where you couldn't go outside your house, what 60-day stretch would you choose? 60 days, so equivalent to 2 months.
January and February.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing.
I also like running in those months. Those are I love. Give me cold over hot any day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's
How about March. March is
the weather can be
Yeah.
iffy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to say like July and August, just because it's so
Mhm.
hot outside and you could just literally chill out in
Yeah.
the AC.
Yeah.
But enjoying it. That's a tough
Yeah.
one.
Then no pool outside.
Right.
I know, I'm obsessed with the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would skip out on a couple months of summer.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
boy, that hurts my heart.
I know.
I
it's
know.
tough. That's
I'd
a
have to
tough
think
one.
about this. I just briefly glanced at these, but I might say November and December based on it's football season. The weather's starting to get a
Yeah.
little rough.
That's
But
not a bad
I
idea.
like January and February though too, because
Or
those
maybe
to
Feb,
me,
March. I don't know.
yeah, that's true. March is a little rough around these parts. All right, this is a random one. Which fictional pop culture character represents you best?
Mr. Clean.
So you're going from the looks perspective. Are you a clean person?
I mean, I take a shower every day.
Well, I meant like around the
don't-
house. Like
Yeah, I
you-
do.
okay.
Listen, I
take a
do the dishes. I
Okay.
can run laundry.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, no, I'm gonna
Okay.
stick to it.
Okay. I like that. Nicole, you have one?
It's probably something really pink and girly like Barbie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
you've got a Barbie vibe
I
in a good
do.
way.
No, in a good way. I'm like Power Barbie. You know?
Yeah, Dr. Runner Barbie.
Dr. President Barbie.
I like it. That's good. All right. Next one. If you had to pick another song one, to be the soundtrack of your life, oh boy, what song would you pick?
Oh, I have that one.
Go ahead.
Pink, I Am Here.
Pink, I'm Here.
It's one of the ones she plays at her concert, and it's not one that's been all over the radio,
Mhm.
but she just kind of yells. She's like, I am here. I've seen the darkest days of my life and I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I'm a survivor. And it's funny because the words are really deep, and it's not
Yeah.
a ballad. It's just like this powerful song with like drums, and she's yelling like, I am here
Yeah.
and I'm strong. And it's kind of awesome.
Yeah. That's great. Great answer. All right,
That's
Mark,
a-
you got
that's a-
about
that's
30
a good
seconds to
one.
think
That's a
about
good-
it.
I know, right?
He's like, I'm
That's a
just gonna
good
use
one.
that one. That's fine.
There's a indie rock band that I listened to a lot in college, early 2000s, called The Dismemberment Plan. Their song's called Following Through. It's just got a really good, I'm a sucker for a good drum line.
Okay.
But it's talking about life stuff, and you know, just trying to live it and follow
Yeah.
through.
That's great. Good answers. All right. If you had this is a little lighter one. If you had a vanity plate on your car, what would it say?
Speed kills.
Speed kills. Okay.
Easy.
What if I already have one?
Do you have one?
I do.
Well, you don't have to share it. Maybe unless you want to. You maybe give us a
I'll
secondary
tell you
choice.
what it means.
Okay.
How about that? You
Yeah.
know, well, like, I mean, everyone who knows me knows that's like, there she is. It's my initials
Yeah.
and my mom's initials with a 4 in the middle, because growing up, like with my mom, dad, and sister, it was always like the 4 of us, the 4 of
Yeah,
us. That's
yeah.
what the 4 is. And, you know, mine has my mom's, just like thinking of her as like maybe my guardian angel, like
Yeah.
wherever I go.
Awesome.
So I already have one.
Man, these are deep cuts here.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to like get too deep here, but I love it. Great
It's okay.
answers.
There's a therapist in the room.
I
Yeah,
know,
right?
I know. It's perfect. What's the oh man, this is the most philosophical question
Oh
here.
boy.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? I might even say, hey, Mark told me to stretch last year. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Deep cuts.
This is my mom again. My mom always said, one day when I'm gone, and she was gone too soon, but she said, always remember to ask for anything and go for anything, because they can only say no. And then she said don't forget to wear sunscreen so you don't look like a purse one day.
I love that.
Both
Love that.
great pieces of advice.
There's a motto that I kind of used a lot in high school and in running. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Mm.
I love
So that's, I guess that kind of speaks to the consistency
Yeah.
thing a little bit. But, you know, if you've got a dream, go out there and chase it, because really you can do whatever you put your mind to. It's just a matter of taking that first step and going and getting it.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. And if you're sitting on the couch, no one's you're not getting better.
That's
So
right.
go out and better yourself, because somebody else is going to try to. Great advice. What is one thing that shouldn't bother you, but really does?
Traffic. I can say I don't get like road rage,
Yeah.
angry, but especially if I'm running and have to cross a street and there's cars in my way,
Mhm.
or, you know, someone's maybe taking their time lollygagging on their phone, and instead of
Oh,
paying
yeah.
attention to the light that just turned green, those
Mhm.
kinds of things, just it's really not a big deal, but that stuff irks me bad.
If someone's playing on their phone a lot, that irks me a lot, because especially now we're saying like you're not supposed to be on your phone at all, and there's supposed to be these $150 fines. I'm like, if you made me like an honorary cop for the day, I could go out and make the
we make
township
so
or
much
city
money.
Yeah.
thousands per day.
For sure.
So
100%.
What grinds your gears, Nicole?
yeah.
Honestly, like, it's rude people, and I know that's about them and not
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But sometimes I'm just like, do you really have to act like that?
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
that rude, entitled, selfish kind of vibe. And that's when I'm like, it's not about me, so I don't want it to bother me.
Yeah.
Mine's always been the shopping cart. Just put your shopping cart back.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
At the end
It's
of the
extra
day.
steps. It's free
Yeah.
steps.
Good
Yeah.
point. Good point. All right. I like this. This is fun. All right. Here's a good one, especially for like the kids race. I know you guys used to do a superhero race with the kids. But this is a good one. If you could be one superhero, or you can even make one up, who would it be? Or I'll take that a step forward. You can either be a superhero or have a superpower. How about that?
Okay.
I used to want to be the Flash, because running, that's
All
easy.
speed.
That's
and
too
your
easy.
license plate.
Yeah, speed
Yeah,
kills, right?
yeah.
But my son and I are both into Marvel and
Yeah.
into Star Wars a lot. Wolverine's always been my favorite. Obviously Deadpool Wolverine just came out, so maybe this is a little more relevant. But yeah, Wolverine, he's my guy. Super, super strong. He's got, an unbreakable skeleton. He can heal super fast. So that's
Okay.
he's my guy.
Okay. All right, Wolverine.
I don't want to cop out on this one because people talk about time travel and things like that. Well, I wouldn't have a job if people could time travel because everyone would just go back and fix what went wrong and no one would need a psychologist. I don't know.
Although the Flash movie, he goes so fast that he can go back in time, and then that changes the outcome of a lot of things.
Butterfly.
Hello, Marty McFly.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I would just, be invisible and just kind of, not something all deep, just something like, I'm going to creep you out.
I like it. That's great. Okay. 2 more. Another song question. If you could play one song, we'll go with this one. If you could play one song to get a party started, what song would it be? We have 3 music questions out of the 10 here.
I know.
That's good for running, though, too. Music is always good when you're running. At least for me, it is.
I guess it depends on what kind of party you want to have.
That's true. That's true. So you could go any which direction. You can go Conte Partio by Andrea Bocelli if you're at a dinner party.
Right.
You can go Fight for Your Right to Party, Beastie Boys.
I played that in yoga this morning.
Oh, really?
I swear to God.
The Beastie Boys.
I did. I played Beastie Boys at 6 a.m. yoga, and everyone was like, yeah, this is awesome.
That's awesome. That is great.
Thursday morning, 6
You start coming to that yoga class.
Right.
You should.
Hell yeah.
Salt and Pepper was on there, too.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm thinking like, let's get it started, Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, that's good.
that's
Good
an
beat.
easy go-to.
Yeah. That's a great beat, too. All
You
right.
play some hip hop no matter what you're getting.
Exactly. Exactly.
B.I.G.
I always like, Hypnotize, Notorious B.I.G.
That's what I was thinking.
That's a solid one. All right. Here's the last one, a sports one, which is good since this is a sports show. If you have, I don't know if you guys have a favorite team or teams you root for. Let's hypothetically say, like my Cleveland Browns back in 2016, they went 0-16. But I will root for that team if they go to the Super Bowl or if they go to 0-16. I will not change allegiance. If you have a team that is just terrible, are you allowed to switch allegiances? Can you have a second favorite team? I guess is what I'm asking.
I think, especially for like football, I think it's smart to have an AFC team and an NFC team.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm an NFC guy.
Yeah. Were you a Packer fan?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody's gonna make fun of me though, and that's okay.
You
I'll
told
own
me
it.
this
I'm a
once.
Cowboys fan.
Cowboys,
That's
yes.
I grew up.
Okay.
I grew up in the. I was born in '86. Grew up in the heyday.
Oh yeah.
With Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, and it was awesome. Won a bunch of championships, and since then, we've really been pretty garbage. So there's been a lot of rough seasons. We've had a little bit of glimmer.
They've been one of those
hope.
like good regular season, but not quite make it in the playoffs.
And I feel, I root for the Browns AFC team.
Yep.
Because I
you got week 1 Browns and Cowboys.
I want to go so bad. But in that, I feel like I can commiserate a lot with Browns fans because a lot of times it's just one step different. The Browns are maybe trying to make it into the playoffs and the Cowboys make it into the playoffs, but we're going to lose week 1 because we just can't ever get it together. But I'm going to root for them no matter what. That's my team. I don't feel like
I like
really
that though, that
up.
you have an AFC team and an NFC team.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Nicole, what about
In
you?
a similar vein, I'm Cleveland through and through, Ohio State through and through. I will never answer this question with anything that starts with a P. No. But
or an M.
No. But I lived in Chicago and I lived in St. Louis. And when I lived in St. Louis, we would go to a ton of Cardinals games. And so I feel like I'm not breaking allegiance because it's NL versus AL. And I loved that stadium. I loved that team. I loved what they did in that city. It had such a good vibe. And, I kind of felt the same way. Just like really, I always went to Cubs games when I lived in Chicago. It was right in my neighborhood. And so I just have like I just love
Yeah,
those teams.
You got a soft spot for it.
It was
Yeah.
hard when it was Cubs Indians I mean, that was really tough because I like them. But yeah.
Both teams have been through so much.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
And Indians have now been through a little bit more. So, but yeah, the Cubs got theirs in 16. So, but St. Louis, to go back real quick to St. Louis, I have always heard that as baseball town America.
It's fantastic.
It is.
The area around the stadium was always a really good time, and it was a really nice stadium. So.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything we maybe didn't touch on that you guys want to, throw out there, or just give one more shout out to sponsors or, anything at the event that maybe we didn't hit on yet?
We just really hope that you will join us. It's a really fun day. We have such a good time. You will smile from ear to ear. As much as, Mark's out there setting up the course at like 1 a.m. I'm out there at 5 a.m, 6 a.m. And as early as it is, as much as we're running around, last year I got 4 miles just running from place to place on our property, like at Second Soul and at Celebration Village. It's so much fun. And, you're really helping people in our community. And that really means a lot. That's why we do this. We want to not only support community nonprofits, but we want to help you love an activity that's good for your soul.
Yes.
September 22nd.
Get out there and
Let's
like
do
you
it.
said,
Be there.
Sign up before if you can. You get a discount, but if you are undecided, you can sign up right up to race day. So get out there, support awesome people, great event, excellent cause, all those adjectives you want to throw out there. Everything is awesome about this event. So Nicole, Mark, thank you for stopping by, and we look forward to doing this again in the future. So for Nicole and Mark, I'm Justin. This has been the 330 Sports Show. We appreciate you guys watching.
Cut.
Sure. Yeah. Cut.
We get a picture for our social media
For sure.
and to document me and Mark matching, I guess.
We are back now with our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Mark, from the Youngstown Marathon. Make sure to check that out. Now, Joe, we're going to get right into it today. We have a ton of stuff to talk about and not a ton of time. So let's start. I don't know if you heard about the Jim Harbaugh stuff, what came out yesterday. So he was slapped with what's called a show cause penalty. So Tressel got one of these years ago, but basically the NCAA slapped him with a show cause penalty, which means a university would have to show cause to hire him. So for the next 4 years minimum. And if he is hired back in the college realm, he would be suspended for a minimum of 1 year. What do you think about that?
Man, who would hire you knowing that you have a year sentence to serve?
Yeah.
That's rough.
That's one thing. And I think too, he knew what was coming and he's like, I'm out of here. 100%. And, I know he's a Michigan man, but he's walking out the door. Whatever happens to the program, we want a title. I'm out of here. Whatever comes, I gave those people a happy 2023-24 season.
So a happy ending.
Yeah, he gave him a happy ending. Exactly. I think the moment that started is when Ohio State beat them in 2019, 56-27 for his 5th straight loss to Ohio State. That is when he was like, you know what? We got to do something. We're going to cheat. We're going to do whatever we can to win. 2020, they go 2-4. That was a COVID year. Then in 2021, this guy named Connor Stallions comes in and basically finds out all of these opponents' They're scouting stuff. They're doing stuff that is not allowed by the NCAA. Now, did they break the rules? Yes. Did they know they were breaking the rules? Yes. So those are two big no-nos. Now, you can argue about, is stealing signs, that's something we do. Do we scout our opponents? Yes, we do that in high school, baseball, football, basketball, whatever it might be. But if it's illegal, you're not allowed to do it. And there are repercussions for that. Now, the NCAA is one of those organizations that is very, they're not, they don't have the best reputation, the NCAA. Now, and we'll get to what Jim Harbaugh's attorney said to this in a minute, but Jim Harbaugh right now, even still to this moment, is denying. You know, I don't never cheat, never steal, never lie. Those were three things his parent always told him. In his book, actually, in this book, by John U. Bacon, Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines at the Crossroads of College Football, as Harbaugh said to me, it's hard to beat the cheaters. He literally quoted that in his book, and then he turns around and does the same thing. So very, 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 very ironic of what he said and what he thinks. I'm going to show you this one now. Now, this is his old coach, Bo Schembechler. When someone uncovers a scandal in their company, I don't think they can say, I didn't know what was going on. They're just saying they are too dumb to do their job. And if they are really too dumb, then why are they getting paid millions of dollars to do it if they don't know what's going on? Jim Harbaugh said yesterday, today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, which is classic Jim Harbaugh weirdness at the end there. But so his old coach, who everyone thinks is, you know, it's like Woody and Bo, Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, two of the greatest college football coaches of all time. But then he's basically saying, if you don't know what's going on in your company, you're kind of what's going on. You're kind of what's at fault. And Jim Harbaugh saying, I don't know what's going on in my company. So what say you on that?
Every sport that I've ever been involved in, the competitive teams and people push on the gray areas, the soft spots and the vulnerabilities to create an advantage. I don't care if you're talking about ball sports or racing or anything. If there's a place where you can get away with something and the margin of competition is like this, you'll take that advantage every time.
Basically what you're saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Absolutely. 100%.
And if you don't get caught, it's not a penalty. So they did what they got away. And as an Ohio State fan alumni, I know I'm going to sound a little bit biased on this, but it's like, you know, Ohio State was punished back in 2011. Jim Tressel lost his job for players trading some of the memorabilia that they won for tattoos. We now live in an NIL world where anything can be given away for free. Jim Tressel was fired for that, for helping the players not get in trouble for that. Jim Harbaugh knew. Now, here's where I will say there was a huge difference with that. When you can take an advantage on the field of play, there is a huge game implication for that, not a payment for a house or a tattoo or a car. This is actual on the field play where this is causing an advantage. So that to me is where I push back and say, you know, they kind of unleveled the playing field, which you said, if there's some gray areas, you attack those. And I will say, in Michigan's defense, they won a national championship. And I mean, did they get caught? Yes, but they're not going to be those memories those fans have of that season, beating Ohio State 3 times in a row when this cheating first started, and, you know, the national championship this year. Those memories can't be taken away. Those fans will remember that, and good for them, because the fans didn't do anything. But the program needs to be held accountable somehow, some way. I don't know what that's going to be, because Jim Harbaugh's out the door. Desmond Howard, a few years back, said, this was in 2011, Buckeye Nation, when did Tressel get all of you in the horseshoe and mass hypnotize you to believe he's infallible? He also said, so if Tressel gets a head coaching job in the NFL next season, this was after he was fired from Ohio State, does Roger Goodell suspend him for the first 5 games? Just asking. Those comments look very, very, very ironic now as Jim Harbaugh leaves after he would have been either fired or suspended for a full year. Now he goes to the NFL and he's going to serve no consequence in the NFL. So what say you on that? Should there be any repercussions?
No, I think the rule book. So I think when people start pushing on gray areas and take that advantage, they get a little greedy and they go too far. Like even thinking like in baseball when you had those performance enhancing drugs, right?
Right.
It's only the people that went like way overboard into an extreme that made the rules have to reset because they went too far.
Sure.
So think about how many programs are doing that in ways where they're not going too far and they're just taking a slight advantage in those deals. So I think every league is going to have everybody sort of a little bit guilty of taking advantage of some of those things.
Okay. All right. I like that from you're not, this Ohio State fan. So it's kind of nice to hear like from a different perspective than what I'm thinking. Now, again, if this was happening in Columbus, Michigan fans would be coming in at Ohio State with pitchforks and, and vitriol and hate and all that stuff. Now it's, in East Lansing, which Michigan State and Columbus going at the Michigan people, which I totally get too from either perspective. But Maury Povich did have one thing to say on this. He said, never cheat, never lie, never steal. The lie detector determined that was a lie. So Jim Harbaugh, you are the father of that. So it all started with Connor Stallions. I wanted to touch on it briefly because it is an issue. It is an issue. It gave them, they were, I believe, I can't remember the record before Stallions showed up, but it was not very good. It was over 500.
Personally, it's tough to say what you would do if you were in that position where, let's just say you noticed something.
Yeah.
Like you noticed when they did certain signs and certain things happen and you had information that was gotten just by sitting back and watching what happened.
Sure.
If you take that to an exponential level where then you try to decode their signs, are you, when you breaking the rules, when you notice something that was obvious, and then when you really made a concerted effort to decrypt their signs?
I think the way the NCAA defines it is institutional control. If you don't have control over your body, your coaches, your players, that's determined as institutional control. So one other thing that Jim Harbaugh said back a few months ago is he wanted immunity from termination, from firing, from sanctions if he were to speak on this. So that does not sound like an innocent person though in this. So again, I like what you're saying. I think what I say has some weight too. It might be somewhere in between. I don't really know.
Let's create a demarcation here.
Yeah.
Like where you go from just being aware of vulnerabilities to where it's flat out cheating. So we're playing poker, you and I, and you notice that when I got a strong hand, I twist my Oreos, right?
Mm-hmm.
You notice that and you use that to your advantage. When does it become institutional? You have information that gives you an advantage.
Okay, so that's a great point. That's a one-on-one. You take any advantage you can to win. So I like that. I like that because I know I'm checking. I'm checking
100%. So is it institutional then when the person that's staking you in that says, hey, when he twists the Oreos, make sure you check. Now is it institutional? What's the difference?
I think it's apples and oranges because it's a heads up. It's one-on-one.
Okay.
It's not, you're not in control of other 18 to 22-year-olds that you're telling, hey, when he does this, this is the kind of card he has.
I send the intern to watch you and pick out your tells. Now it's institutional because now we're trying to create
perhaps
an advantage.
Perhaps. But there are no rules in poker. There are rules in college football. So
Decorum, baby. That's all it is. Decorum versus rules.
It is. And some of it is a little bit petty. I get that. But
if you ask me if Jim Harbaugh was a douchebag, I would say yes.
okay. Let's hear what his attorneys say on this. His attorney, so Mars Law Firm, put out a statement on this COI decision. And they said, the way I see it from Coach Harbaugh's perspective, today's COI decision is like being in college and getting a letter from your high school saying you've been suspended because you didn't sign the yearbook. If I were in Coach Harbaugh's shoes and had an $80 million contract as head coach of the Chargers, I wouldn't pay any attention to the findings of a kangaroo court, which claims to represent the principles of the nation's most flagrant repeat violator of federal antitrust laws. Those sound like fighting words right there. So basically what they're saying is, hey, if you come back to high school, we're going to give you a detention after you're already graduated from high school. So that's kind of what it feels like to me.
I have nightmares about that exact scenario right there.
So maybe Jim Harbaugh will get nightmares from this, but he will not most likely won't affect him at all. What will be coming down the line? Now, keep in mind, that was for Hamburger Gate, this like recruiting violation. This was for none of the sign stealing allegations. So there are more penalties coming down the line for this Michigan program. Should be very interesting here. So, all right, let's switch gears.
No, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think badly of any teams that, like, where's your level of, if you found out Ohio State did something gray area, what's the point where you would say that's cheating?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know if I can give you an exact hypothetical situation, but I do know Jim Tressel was fired, pushed out the door, and Terrell Pryor was suspended and basically pushed to the NFL, as well as several other players, for trading in memorabilia for tattoos. And I think that was pretty extreme. And I think what's happening with Jim Harbaugh right now is like he's already gone. So it's not even a slap on the wrist. So it's like maybe they can find some middle ground there where it's not too extreme. You know, because like the players in the future at Michigan are going to have nothing to do with this, but they might bear some of the consequences for this. But the current head coach of Michigan definitely knew what was going on, Sharon Moore. He was part of the offensive staff, which I heard a lot of the allegations were on the defensive side of the ball. But Jesse Minter and one of their DCs there is now coaching for the Seattle Seahawks. And so it's like, I've also heard people say this could have cost people like millions of dollars. Maybe CJ Stroud, who's killing it now in the NFL, maybe, and there's evident video of the 2022 game in Columbus, which looked like a blowout, but it was a 7-point game with like 6 minutes left, where the Michigan sideline is giving all the signals to tell the defense what play is coming. So let's say hypothetically CJ Stroud wins that game. Maybe they go on, they're the number 1 seed, they win the championship that year. Maybe CJ Stroud becomes the number 1 pick instead of the number 2 pick, which might only be a couple $1 million, but might benefit him greatly in his career. Maybe actually this helped him because he dropped to number 2. I don't know. But this could have cost people jobs. This could have cost people draft spots, good or bad, depending on what side you're on. And maybe I'm making a bigger deal of it than I should be, but I can see, like you said, you attack those gray areas, you find every advantage you can to win, but at the same time, there's the integrity of the game. And if it's a rule, you got to follow it. So I don't know.
I honestly think everybody's cheating and the good cheaters don't get caught.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let's go on to someone that doesn't cheat, but is just really good at her sport. And she represented Northeast Ohio very proudly yesterday in the Olympics. Katie Moon, former guest of the show, won the silver medal yesterday in women's pole vault. So I believe it was 14.9 or 14.85 she cleared. So an Australian ended up winning at 4.9. I think Katie was at 4.85, but that's basically like 15 and a half feet you're jumping over. And her her all-time record was 4.87. So she would have had to beat her personal best to win the gold, but nothing to not be proud of about here, and just awesome. And it's really cool. Now forever I can say I have, I know or have talked to an Olympic gold and silver medalist. So that's always something that I think is really,
do you have
really
an
cool.
interview lined up after?
You know what? I will touch base with her, and once things I'll probably give her a couple weeks, let her get back to her normal life, and let the Mike Tiricos and Hodas and stuff of NBC, and get back and let her settle in, and then hopefully we can set something up.
I have some good feedback for her.
Yeah.
So when she was preparing herself mentally,
yeah,
she was not smiling
Yes.
during her first 3 attempts, which she was smiling the prior one. So I'm going to tell her she was focused, but she needs to enjoy the moment. And
Yes.
I think that's the recommendation I can make.
Or maybe the bar just got higher.
Really high. The bar,
but that's good.
elevated.
But I think that's good. And I think, like you said, have fun while you're doing it. And I think when because I was watching it, there was 20 women in the finals. And I think real quickly it got down to 13 and then 9. And then all of a sudden it was she was locked into a medal position. So she was basically competing. It was either for the gold or the silver. She was locked into one of those two. And, it was at that point, it's try to enjoy it, try to win. But, if you don't, you're doing pretty well.
The one attempt where it was a misfire, where she was a stumble of some kind, where she didn't even really make an attempt.
Yes.
I think that was a mental thing. And then the next one, she was super focused, but there wasn't fun on her face.
Yeah.
It
was I have to do this. Yeah.
Yes, but she did it.
But it was
silver is amazing.
It is. So gold in 2021 Tokyo, silver in Paris, nothing to be sad about there. Awesome performance. I don't know if you saw this picture, but how freaking cool is this picture? For anyone that listens on podcasts, it's LeBron holding the American flag on the boat when it was going down the Seine. And is it the Seine or the Seine? I don't know, river. But there was 528 or something American athletes on that boat. And he looks like freaking George Washington crossing the Potomac in that picture. I just thought that was really cool. So real quick, we'll spend about 5 minutes on the Olympics. What was the coolest thing? I don't know how much you watched of it, but what's the coolest thing you watched in the Olympics?
The Smurf guy with his nuts hanging. I can't help it.
The other pole vaulter?
No, the blue
guy. The blue guy
from the opening ceremony.
Oh,
he had his nuts hanging out.
Let me see if we have a picture of that.
The blue guy.
Oh, this guy. That guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to be holding the American flag on the front of the boat with his nuts hanging out.
I don't want that guy representing America at all. But if there was a lot of backlash on that, because people thought it was, there was a lot of people thinking it was depicting the Last Supper, which is obviously huge in Christianity. That was not the Last Supper. Once people found out, it was representing something in Greek mythology. And so what say you on that? I think you and Kellen talked about this before.
You don't think it was a thumb in the eye?
I don't think so.
Dude, that's what artists do.
Where did the Olympics start? Greece.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, is Greek a country now?
Greek.
Oh, Greek, not Greece.
Greece.
Sorry, proceed.
Greco-Greece.
So you think this was a little...
Yeah,
you do.
It totally, yes. That's what, see,
I don't agree.
Love when people push on the status quo. Yeah. Anytime that somebody
there was a lot of PC pushing in that
100%.
Opening ceremony. Yeah.
I think that's really good for conversation.
Sure.
I think it's really what artists are supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I just have I'm a little, miffed about that we don't own up to when you back off from it and say, yeah, we were pushing on ideals and we were making conversations happen. That's where the best conversations happen.
Okay. That's good. I like it.
You don't think so? You don't think it had anything to do
I just think no, I think it was it's the Olympics. It was something, and I really honestly didn't care too much about it. I saw some places were saying we're not putting the Olympics on because we think it's devaluing, it's poking fun at our religious beliefs, and I couldn't have thought anything more from the truth on that. I thought that was a bit too much. So I don't know. Just my opinion. You have yours. We both could be right. We both
100%.
could be wrong. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
But the blue guy needs to survive this. He needs to be
We're gonna-
nutsack and all.
we're gonna talk about someone else with their nutsack that cost them a medal in a little bit here too. Before
Dude, are we
you
still
know
on
what?
Olympics?
Let's just do it right
All
now.
right, do it.
Oh, first of all, so here are the two funniest things I saw. Long Wang won the Olympic diving, I believe, for the Chinese. But then this is a headline I'm reading from. So
It's official.
pole vaulter's Olympic dream shattered by his own penis.
Yes.
Which we just talked about Katie Moon and the pole vault. Luckily, she has different genitalia, different parts. So she would be unaffected by that. But however, this French pole vaulter was so close to winning a medal, and then his junk literally hit the pole as he was coming down and knocked the other pole over.
There are very few win-losses, but this was both a win and a loss.
That is true. If you is that maybe not the best way to lose?
100%.
That guy's going to get a lot of, pardon my language, exposure for this, and probably will make way more
Stud service
advertising than he will pole vaulting. So good for him. I don't know his name, but I think a lot of people probably know who.
It comes down to 8 inches. 8 inches between gold and silver.
That might be just over the bar too. So
100%.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been too excited about that jump, maybe. So
he's famous for the best reasons ever.
Yes. So, all right, 2 more controversies I want to tackle here.
Okay.
This is from a women's rights group. Women's rights groups are offended by the beach volleyball uniforms,
Dude.
just not the women who actually compete in beach volleyball. So the women don't bother them, but their bathing suits, costumes, uniform, whatever you want to call it, are bothering them. What say you on this?
Dude, that's the reason I watch beach volleyball.
I honestly, and I will say, the sport itself is very entertaining. It's very interesting. It's fun to watch. And then you add another extra layer of awesomeness to it. And I mean, these are women that work out. They're in their prime of their life. Why not celebrate them? You know, they literally look great at what, and they're great at what they do. And I think a lot of them get a lot of attention, maybe some bad, but mostly good, because of the way they look. But you also might not tune in if they're not wearing that. So it gives them a lot of exposure either way. Thoughts?
I don't love volleyball. I love beach volleyball.
Like, I'm trying to think of when I watch beach volleyball besides that. Now, I know they have a tour, and there is some colleges in warmer climates have beach volleyball. But, you know, I watched a couple of the USA matches. There's one Canadian girl, and her dad was an athlete. Her mom was an athlete, and she is just a phenomenal volleyball player. But she's so nice to look at, and that doesn't hurt the viewing. You know, that doesn't hurt the ratings. So there was a girl from France that, I mean, it's just like, how you can like not take your eyes off her, but it's also an entertaining sport. So to me, it's like, why not let them, if they're not comfortable, they have the option. They can wear leggings. They can wear long sleeves if they want. And some of them do, with like when there's cooler weather and stuff like that. And, you know, as long as they have the right to it, I don't see why it's hurting anybody. I think it's only helping, honestly. I mean, we always say sex sells, and it's like, I mean, there's not many, percentage of the people that are better looking than those women, and they're also great athletes, and why not? It's not hurting.
If you got the assets, use them.
I like the word choice there.
Assets.
That's perfect. So
did you see the I don't know if this is part of your slides, but the girl who got kicked out of the village for inappropriate behavior?
Oh, she snuck out and went to like Disneyland or something?
I don't know.
I saw it was like a South American country. I just saw they sent her back because of she was a bad environment or something. It was some South America country, I believe. So I don't know what happened there. She was basically sent away. So
But she is was very very beautiful. But she had
very, very beautiful.
beautiful. But she wasn't even competing, but she was a retired, I think, swimming,
Okay.
and they called it inappropriate behavior.
Okay.
I have no idea what the inappropriate
Yeah.
behavior was.
All right. See if you can find that.
I will.
While you're finding that, I need to know. I'm very curious what your thoughts are on the two female boxers with a lot of pushback saying that they might be male, they might have different chromosomes. What's your thoughts on that?
It's sort of like what I feel about baseball. When someone I'll find it. Anyway,
I think it
when
might be this girl.
you think it's that girl?
Yeah, Luna Alonso. I think it might be her. Here, we'll come back to the boxing thing. So tell me about this girl, this Luna Alonso. She was kicked out of the village. I think it's up a little bit right there. A young swimmer is at the center of a controversy after allegedly being kicked out of the Olympic Village for creating an inappropriate environment. Luana Alonso, a student at SMU, which is in Dallas, who is competing at the Olympics as a native of Paraguay, is a specialist in the 100-meter butterfly. She debuted in the Tokyo Olympics, placing 28th in the 100-meter. During the Paris Olympics, Alonso also took part in the same competition, but she did not advance to the semifinals, coming in 6th place. However, it wasn't her performance during the Paris Olympics that shined in the spotlight on the 20-year-old. Rather, it was her alleged behavior, including her leaving the Olympic Village that was not to the liking of the Paraguayan Olympic Committee. I don't know. So she basically went out and was checking out the town.
She was hot.
Sounds really lame. Let the girl go out and like explore, like as long as it's not affecting your competition, like you should be able to both enjoy the games and be a part of them without being kicked out. Like if she's out at Disneyland or out at the Louvre or something while she should be competing or training or something, that's one thing. But yeah, she's a nice looking girl. Very nice looking. But looks should have nothing to do with this one, in my opinion.
Sure.
But why would you kick her out? So she was kicked out for basically.
So was she retired and really not participating, and that's why she was kicked out?
I don't know. But like, so maybe she was done with her event and like maybe they have like a curfew or something and she was out beyond. I'm just hypothetically speculating on that, but I don't know. Let them live. Let them live a little bit.
I'm telling you, you have freak athletes that breed with other freak athletes. You create new fresh freak athletes.
Maybe, yeah, she's too young to have another freak athlete.
You think so?
Yeah.
How old do you think that is? Right there?
22, 23.
I don't know.
So
that's
yeah.
old enough. That's
she doesn't want to
breeding age.
No, she's all right. We're changing subjects.
Where were we?
We're going back to some may argue
males
competing
females.
So okay. Here's what I'm gonna say on this, but I want to hear your perspective on this. So if I put these now, if you're listening later on podcasts or whatever, you're not gonna be able to see them, but you can Google them. It's two women competing in I think one is from Algeria. I forget where the other was from, China maybe, or one of the it wouldn't be China. It would be one of the Asian nations, I believe. But they both were born females. They've grown up females, but now all of a sudden they're getting this pushback for being males and competing in sports. I have seen nothing except from like certain people trying to push an agenda saying that these are males competing against females. Now, again, if there's more information that I don't know about, prove me wrong, but I think it's just maybe some people think they look like men and don't like the way they look and don't think they should be competing against females. But if they're females and they're competing against females, why not? So what say you?
Yeah. So same thing with baseball. If somebody has some kind of biological anomaly where there is an advantage
Mhm.
over a traditional non-anomalous type of,
Yeah.
whatever, and they get an advantage, it's not fair to the competition.
No.
And so like I know they have tests if you have a female that produces more testosterone and they have more muscle mass and they have more speed and they
Sure,
have
yeah.
more density, that's an extreme advantage. And
Yeah.
even though they're physically a female, would it be
Now that
fair?
wouldn't that go against like doping though? So
Same thing,
that would
yeah.
but that would come across in a test, which they tested fine. So according to
Well, both of
all
those
the
were
Olympic
challenged
committees.
with the amount of testosterone that was naturally being accumulated in that athlete. So I don't know what you can take to sort of like take the advantage away from that biological. Like if you're a
Sure.
female and you're creating extra testosterone and you have more muscle mass, extreme disadvantage to
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
whose body's not doing that.
100% agree. So I'm just going to sit this one out and say I don't know enough to make a determination, but I'm just very curious about that, because if it's maybe just like we were just saying, that Paraguayan Olympian was sent home for inappropriate behavior, but she was really good looking, so maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Whereas these two aren't the most attractive females, but they're competing at the top end of their sport. So it's like, are we doing one thing based on looks one way and one thing based on looks the other way, and maybe not? I don't know. Is it apples and oranges?
And honestly, I think that's going to be, even going forward in the future Olympics, like biological advantage when, chemistry starts changing. Do you have some people who are just normal at an extreme disadvantage to people who have taken on things that just won't qualify the normal person from having? In racing, it's the same thing. Like you try to make all things equal. Like, you ever watch the IROC series?
I know what it is, but no.
So basically, like, every team can come up with their own engineering.
Yeah.
And so the better money teams have the better engineered cars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, IROC, they're given their car, so it's driver against driver. Everybody has a 100% equal car when they drive. So it's a better reflection of who's the better driver. Exactly.
Yeah, it's skill, not body.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, we'll let you guys out there be the judge of that one. How about that?
But the Blue Smurf Nuts guy, he needs to be prime. He needs to be a complete brand for the Olympics going forward.
Well, speaking of the complete brand of the Olympics, I think it might be Snoop Dogg, because he is reportedly being paid $500,000 per day plus his expenses to gallivant around Paris for this Olympics. So I know he's going to be on The Voice or some show on NBC. So that's why they're pushing him out there for marketing purposes. But so basically, I think the Olympics start on a Friday, they end on a Sunday for 2 weeks. So 16 days. So he's going to make about $8 million to just go to these. He's basically the USA mascot for these games.
What qualifies Snoop Dogg to be the mascot for Wyatt?
I think Snoop Dogg is just likable.
Okay.
Now,
so likability.
Yep.
Coolness factor.
Totally
high anytime that he's somewhere.
Probably.
Brings in a demographic that otherwise probably wouldn't tune in.
That might be true.
Talent and skill, right?
Yeah.
He's a performer,
from a
musical,
performance. Yeah.
Did you do performances during the Olympics?
I don't know if he is, but maybe. I mean, he probably get out.
It's a good investment. If you wanted to bring in people that wouldn't watch otherwise,
that's true.
500,000 is pretty cheap.
That's very true. Very true. Okay. All right. Answer this question, and then we're going to close out the Olympics.
This is a good one.
Maybe.
Okay.
If blank was an Olympic sport, I'd totally have a gold medal.
Ooh. Blank was a sport.
Anything.
Making Justin uncomfortable sport. Like, anything that comes out of my mouth makes you uncomfortable. Gold medalist right here.
There's some probably family members that might do that more. So
I would be bronze.
So you may be silver.
Shit, I gotta come up with something else.
No. All right, that's a good one. That's a good. Like, I actually didn't think of this question for my own self. It was more for you or the public. But yeah, I'd have to. What am I? I don't know. I'm like pretty good at a lot of things, but not great at
pissingpeopleoff.com. That's me.
Ooh, okay. I like that. You and the MLO bros, you'd have a gold, silver, bronze right there.
Gold, silver, bronze.
Mine might be drinking coffee. I'm a pretty good coffee drinker. I might have a gold.
Silver there. Like, you bring out MLO bros, and I'm definitely silver behind them. I got to come up with something that'd be golden.
Well, if there was 3 of you, gold, silver, and bronze, who would be gold, who would be silver, who would be bronze? In the
MLO Bros.
pissing people. No, they're 2 separate people though.
Luke is gold. I'm silver.
I
Isaac
think,
is bronze.
I think that's right too. I think that's right. So if gold medaling, or if pissing people off was an Olympic sport, Joe would
be
have
silver.
a silver.
I got to think of something I'd be
pissing
gold
people.
at. Because I'm.
It's a good one to pose
Who
the
would
question.
survive the apocalypse?
Joe would have a gold medal.
Gold. I found my gold.
And you would only have the silver and bronze to deal with.
Dude,
everyone else would
if
be
you
gone.
got the silver, I would kill you and take your silver. So I would have gold, silver, and bronze.
And I'd melt that silver down and melt that bronze down and make a bullet out of it.
And kill the next guy. Like, this would be a perpetual gold for me.
Every 4 years. Boom. Done.
Grenades and gold medals.
All right. We're getting weird enough for you out there. 5 more minutes and then we're closing out.
Okay.
College football coaches poll came out. Ohio State #2 in the rankings. Georgia 1, Oregon 3, Texas 4, Alabama 5, Michigan 8, Penn State 9.
Where's Wisconsin? Where are you, buddy?
They might be in there. So
Where?
they actually play Alabama at home early this year. So we'll see. But it's going to be a fun college football year. It really, really is. Fox put out their NFL power ratings, and I'm putting Brandon Ayuk and Amari Cooper out there because there's been a lot of banter about Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver from San Francisco, possibly going to Cleveland, possibly going to San Francisco. At this point, I would almost expect him to be in Pittsburgh, but if he comes to Cleveland, I'd love it. At this point, I just want it to be over with and make a decision. But they had the Browns coming in at the number 10 power rankings in the preseason. So I'm comfortable with that. I like it. But if you look ahead, you got, they would be in the 5th AFC spot: Kansas City, Houston, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Buffalo. Actually, they'd be 6th. But they'd be 3rd in their division, which is kind of crazy. So 3 of the top 10 teams are in the AFC North, and then Pittsburgh not too far behind. What are they at? 19. So that's where Fox comes in, and this is subject to change and all that stuff. All right, Joe, we're going to close out on this. Last thought. Yesterday, the Haslam Group set out and unveiled a $3.6 billion with a B plan for a stadium coming in Brook Park. So here is some of the renderings. And again, if you're listening to this, just look them up. They're beautiful. But here's kind of an aerial view from the HKS group that put this out. Your thoughts on the new Browns Stadium as it? I'm going to just kind of leaf through some of these pictures, but your thoughts on some of these pictures.
Yeah. So I think you move out of the urban setting, just like Las Vegas. You move out of the outskirts into the desert and whatever. You could build a much better facility.
Yes.
Easier for fans to get into.
Yes.
And a much better experience.
Yes,
for sure.
And the thing I love is the roof is like translucent or transparent, whatever you want to call it. But you look at it, and part of the reason it's so low is because it's going to be built underground, FAA regulations. I think it's about 10 minutes from the airport, about 5 or 6 miles from the airport. But I think I'm going to be in the minority in this and say, I actually think moving the Browns out of downtown will actually benefit the downtown area.
100%.
Now, people would probably come at me and say, that is absolute nonsense. What are you talking about? Well, one, I think it will open up railway systems, busing systems, transportation systems that maybe don't exist right now. And you kind of have a little triangle there between the airport, Brook Park, and downtown, which
it's not that far away. It is super close to downtown.
Yeah, it's 10 miles. I think it's 12 miles from downtown. So we're talking at most a 15-minute drive. If you're in heavy traffic, maybe 20. But parking will be much readily available. Getting in and out of the facility will be much better. And it's just the overall experience.
Think of the concessions that you have to make when you're stuck in a postage stamp right by the lake that, because you can't expand, you can't put everything you'd want. You go to Brick Park and you can do everything you'd ever want because there's just property available.
Well, and really, if you think about downtown Cleveland, where it's situated on the lake, you can really only go in two directions. You can really only go east or west because the city is directly south. North, you're driving right into the lake. So you can really only take 80 or 90 east or west. And then once you veer off east or west, you can go 77 south or 71 south or whatever to get to wherever you're going. But it is not convenient to get in and out of that stadium.
Not at all.
And one thing, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but in this one image, if you can see in that end zone, now this is the opposite side of the big scoreboard. There is a smaller scoreboard, but underneath that, there are these heavily sloped bleachers, which I think they're going to be their new version of the dog pound, which to me looks amazing. And here's another reason I'm going to say this is going to help the city of Cleveland. One, instead of 15 dates a year, you're probably going to have upwards of 100 to 150 big events in this facility per year. All those people are not staying in Brook Park. A lot of those people are going to want to stay in downtown Cleveland. They're going to want to spend their money in downtown Cleveland. Will they be in Brook Park a lot more and more than they are now? Obviously, that answer is yes. But like I said, with the transit system, that's going to open up, and they got 3 or 4 years to get this going. So this will be a massive undertaking, but they also have the time to do it. And I think they're setting these plans up right. And this is the same company that built the Minnesota Vikings Stadium, who I think is the nicest stadium in all of football, and also the Texas Rangers baseball stadium, who is it. If you look at some of the lines and the design and there's a lot of angles to this. It's not just like flat roof or rounded. It's a very aesthetically pleasing.
So do you think the conversations with the city of Cleveland, is it really for naught that this is a foregone conclusion? They've already decided that's where it's going to be? Or do you think the city of Cleveland could do something to make it downtown?
My opinion, it's a done deal. I think they're going to like masquerade around saying, yeah, we're trying to keep it downtown, but I don't think so. And I saw the city of Cleveland was offering like $461 million or something, which is great, but you're putting a Band-Aid on that stadium still. You can't put a roof on it because of FAA regulations with that stupid airport that's downtown. And that's only for like if Trump or Biden, Harris flies in, or like private jets or whatever, which is fine. It's nice to have something like that, but don't put it right on your major moneymaker of the lakefront. So my best thing I would tell the city of Cleveland, tear that stadium down. Maybe make the Browns pay for that. Tear the stadium down, whenever it's done, and then build apartments, bars, restaurants, shopping, parks, beaches, whatever it might be. Invest in that area and don't let it keep being the mistake on the lake. My last question before we close out on this, your thoughts on the roof, because a lot of people say, oh, it's AFC North football. It has to be played outdoors. It has to be a grass field. What say you on that?
No, it's marketability, and the roof, like you said, 150 versus 12.
Yeah.
Big advantage.
Exactly. And if I go to a game now, I'd pay a little bit more to be a little bit more comfortable too. Yeah. It's like, I think it might be an advantage at sometimes for the Browns playing at home, because
it really hasn't.
But it really hasn't at all. No.
Yeah. Like if your team is really geared for cold weather.
Yeah.
It hasn't played out that way.
It hasn't.
In at least 10 years.
Look at that Christmas game, 2 years ago when the Saints came in and it was like -8 degrees, snowing, brutally cold. The Saints, you can't get any more south than New Orleans, really, unless you're in Miami. And they came in and beat us. And it was like, that was two evenly matched teams, and they beat us because they were the better team, even though they weren't playing in the elements. They're a dome team from the South. And Cleveland's
no dice. Yeah. Put the stupid dome on it.
Put the dome on it. Build it. If you build it, they will come. So, all right. So let's close out there. That was really good. I am all for that dome, and we'll see from there. But for Joe Danier, I'm Justin Coffin. This has been the 330 Sports Show. We will see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your support.